I start my telecast with Miss Reena Dhaka. She is a fashion designer. She is a veteran of the current Indian fashion industry. It's good to have you, Reena, on the telecast with us. And I seek an opinion from you about the initiative that has been started off by Prime Minister himself when he becomes the brand ambassador for recycled clothing.
I think, I hope my sound is correct.
Yes, we can hear you.
Thank you so much for having me on this wonderful topic of Khadi, sustainability, and our wonderful, the choice we have had of our Prime Minister himself choosing to make Khadi or to wear sustainable, refashioned clothing as a part of his, very well watched and admired appearance. I think, for the younger generation, this is a very important piece of information. They are very conscious of their choices. They have to, after all, go ahead into a future where, in Buddhism, our president says that we have borrowed the earth from our grandchildren. So where would the earth be if we were to not save it at this moment? And Khadi is a wonderful fabric, very low on carbon footprint. As you know, 55 liters of cloth is used for just to produce a single meter of cotton cloth, while Khadi barely uses any carbon footprint. It is a biodegradable, very good on the skin fabric. Of course, the new generation needs to be aware of its merits simply because it is a fabric of the heart. It involves giving a lot of employment to our weavers, to many such rural players of our country. The other factor being it gets better with use with many washes. As the UN has also said that one must reuse their clothes at least 30 times. It is a great fabric for us to refashion or to put it in our lives in daily use, be it in tunics, in tops, in kurtas, in jackets, because this fabric will bring its merits to our well-being also. It helps the skin. It feels good. And it is also helping our conscience. It helps saves the earth. I really think this Khadi push is not enough, and the youth need to identify with it. More and more fashion and designers need to play a bigger role in this and bring in more ready-to-wear and sportswear designs so that it becomes user-friendly.
Absolutely, Reena. Now, also with the Prime Minister, he is the head of the country. He is a very popular figure, not just in India, but across the globe. Now, does his campaign to not just propagate, not just go about preaching that sustainable fashion is the way to go, but actually practicing it, does the message then go far and wide to the smallest of the villages, farthest of the villages and districts of our country and across the globe?
Absolutely. There is no better voice than him today, because people literally, if you hear them all around you, as we travel a lot with our work, we pick up sounds and words of people. They mention things simply like, oh, we must have this. Prime Minister Modi bhi yehi khate hain. Ab ye bhi karenge kyunki Modi ji ye khate hain aur ye karte hain. So his endorsement will bring great merit and benefit to the cause of Khadi and the eventual trickle-down effect to the rest of the world and to us in our lives, because it is sustainable and very much so. A lot of so if he, the greatest leader who inspires people with his choices, with his style, with whatever he does, people want to emulate it. Yes, I think no better man on earth right now than him to endorse Khadi.
Reena also shed light into India's Khadi movement. It is not new. It has been going on and since time immemorial. Mahatma Gandhi propagated it, popularized it. Do you think somewhere the Khadi message has not resonated with the entire globe? We have forgotten our roots, and sustainable fashion is something that Khadi has always propagated.
So, this story always stays with me, that back in the freedom movement, where the struggle was at its peak, the richest of Indians, of course, Birlas are named in in the story I must have read, they gave away wearing of their silks, their chiffons, their imported fabrics. Then the fabrics, so a lot of them were imported, as you know, from England and from France. And they chose to wear the fabric of the Mahatma. So this is really a very significant story, and I think today the times are hard. We are having effects of bad weather, skin diseases, illnesses, and in these recurrent situations, we have to make choices and steps to go ahead into a world where we will be able to safeguard our future from them. And yes, khadi is a part of our culture, part of our story. It is homegrown, and we just need to streamline it into availability for daily use. You know, be it fashion, be it your daily use. It just needs to be all around us, more accessible and easy to locate.
Yes.
And yes, the Mahatma gave us khadi and the spinning. And it's very, very symbolic. I get a bit emotional, sorry about it.
Yes. Reena, also you as a fashion designer, how have you and your team then spread the message of sustainable fashion? How is it that you and your craftsmen are then working towards a sustainable, greener fashion industry?
We've become more conscious today to use more of cottons, khadis. We also work with our clients to tell them, I educate them myself, because it's to say that I'm happy to refashion your clothes. Let's, if you see our old Indian tradition, that same old sari which our mother wore, that became a quilt or a part of a patchwork, and then it became a sofa cover. But we never wasted, really. We recycled everything in our environment. So the times are right now, because that polyester, even though they have a great storage advantage, they don't need ironing, they're lightweight, but they also harm our skins. Our sweating increases with them, and the climatic conditions of India, there is no better fabric than khadi. And yes, as a designer, I am working very hard with not just khadi, with other fabrics which are now becoming easily biodegradable. There are other private players also who are offering us good cotton silk choices, and that to a client today holds merit. And I'm very appreciative of people like you, Musex, who's taken up this thing of showing this program. I'm sure that Reach will also, have a person concerned to try out this fabric, someone who hasn't worn it, or to have our Prime Minister himself support it. And yeah, I'm wearing khadi right now.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Also, this campaign about slow fashion, and you rightfully mentioned that it may be a new term for the West. It has been practiced since time immemorial, from our mothers to grandmothers to great-grandmothers, how recycling is part and parcel of our daily lives. And when it comes to recycled fashion, is there the industry consensus that is together in sustainable fashion? And also the matter that has been raised during India G20 presidency, sustainable development goals. How important and significant a role does sustainable fashion play in reaching and achieving those goals?
So it's a slow journey. It's a crawl as yet. We've started the dialogue, because don't forget, we are a bed of exports, India. We are one of the economies which makes clothes for the rest of the world. Not just between India, China, maybe Turkey, Cambodia, Pakistan. We're some of the cotton growing belts, and we're also mass producing as exporters from our country for the Western worlds, or whatever, Eastern worlds. So yes, when you cut a fabric, as you know, there is, based on the design, the selvages are big. You can't do much with it. So as a result of it, now a lot of good, sensible fashion houses, and the ones who can afford to do it, because sustainability is at a price. It is a little costlier, both in terms of effort, but in the long run, if your client can pay you even a 10 or a 15% up to your original price, a lot of companies have now started moving in the genre of sustainable choices. You also have Ajrak, in India, if you're talking of sustainability, that is one of the most sustainable models of fabric printing, of dyeing, and how they use even their water. They pool in together all their resources, the entire village, and they try to use that commonly. They use vegetable dyes, and that is a part of our Indian history. So there is a lot of sustainable examples out of India still. In a world today where everybody has moved towards fast fashion, towards cost-effective economies, and to get deliveries on time, as you know, with an international buyer, if you don't ship on the right date, the exporter loses a certain percentage of money on his letter of credit per day. So we have, as a result of all this, those landfills you see in some parts of Delhi, which have become mountains of Katran, as they call it. So there is today younger designers, and I would like for whoever's listening in to create pushes with the mills or the weaving sector, wherein those Katrans themselves can become yarn and get recycled into cloth, which can then be suitably finding itself markets to resell itself. So that way we are not destroying the existing system. That will itself take years of work. So yes, that there are brands now who have become very popular in the West who have started doing this process.
Right.
In India, yes, we need to, we're very vast, even our landfills are vast. So this process is slow, and it needs to we need to put that foot forward, because it's high time we stop talking about it and start taking action on it.
Reena, also, do you think it's challenging for designers or the fashion industry or the textile industry to sell to the people the idea of slow fashion, sustainable fashion, simply as you mentioned about the price points, which are costlier than fast fashion? But you know, I as a child used to go to the Khadi Bhandar or the Khadi Gram, and I don't know, I don't think those clothes that one would buy were as expensive as fast fashion. Or I don't know, the advent of fast fashion has only increased in perhaps the last few years, perhaps not during the time when I was a child, because I did not see any Zaras or the H&Ms of the world setting shop in India.
So you see Zara, H&M, and all these, basically they follow a dictate of a world fashion. They are also not making original fashion. The fashion originally belongs to groups of designers who will show, say, at a Paris Fashion Week, New York, or Milan, or wherever. The bigger fashion houses, they create what we call trends. Once a trend sets in, Zara's, Mango's will place those orders all over the world, wherever their factories are, be it India, China, blah, blah, blah. So yes, when they start using, where the top of the food chain will start using Khadi, or because see, Khadi, no two lots will be the same color. There'll be slubs in it. So there are these quality checks we all have to do, which make Khadi, on a standard different to export. But its merits are too vast. Khadi Bhandar is still very successful. And I'm myself truly shocked at the prices they offer, because it is impossible for us to even recreate that same look at the cost Khadi Bhandar offers. So yes, there is a great subsidy in that. But there's not enough. How much? Like say I want a t-shirt with puff sleeves, or you want to wear a trouser suit tomorrow, because that is the trend. You're getting one at a Zara or a Mango at a certain price. It's giving you your look. Now we need the same available, either in the same kiosk or at your doorstep, or the online model we use. So that will happen once the dialogue reaches them. They understand the merits. We, on our part, increase our supply line. We provide it when the supply line and the quantities will increase, I also believe the costing will go down. And yes, but the youth on their own, India, we are such a big economy. On our own, we can open more Khadi Bhandars, which are more trend-driven, young-driven, and the prices are controlled as they are already by Khadi Bhandar. Yeah. They should make it more viable.
Absolutely.
Like maybe more athleisure, like that.
Okay, all right, absolutely. Thank you, Reena, for joining us on the telecast.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.